call this, what do we have today? The March 13th Waterworks and Lighting Commission meeting to order. John Bergen has been excused from today's meeting. Number 2, approval additions or corrections to the minutes of the following meeting. I'd entertain a motion to approve the January 14th meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
We have a motion, is there a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second, is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Moving on to action items, the summer help request 3.1. Anybody want to speak to that?
I can speak to that. So we're, for the utility, we're just looking to hire one summer help person. This time it's going to be a shared position between the office and water, typically water engineering. You can see what projects we have listed there that this person would look for. But this year we're not looking for outside help. It would just be the one person in the office.
And can you elaborate on lead, copper, rule revision regulations?
Yeah, so we have to update all the private lead services within the city, and so it goes through surveying and mailing out letters and collecting the data, sometimes going into the houses to verify it. And so all that data then has to be entered into the GIS so we can submit it to the DNR in October.
Okay. Is that related to, you had that, how to test your pipes or whatever?
Yeah, that's just the normal brochure we give to the public, so they can do it themselves if they need to.
That's a good way to do it, so thanks for including it in current ways.
So is this position going to be part-time office, part-time field?
Well, it'd be part-time office, part-time like a GIS position,
Okay.
where they're just entering data into our database.
Okay, and do you have a pay rate established for that?
I believe last time, Jeff, it was 16.
I don't think we've set that for this year yet.
I think we decided to keep it what it was last year,
Okay.
which was 16, right?
I think it was 16 last year.
Okay, any other questions on that? Looking for a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second, any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that request is passed. 4.1, safety report. Any questions for Sean?
You applied or submitted for the MEUW Safety Award application,
Yep,
and what is that based on?
that's for the electric utilities specific. We applied for the APPA Safety Award a month before, I forget, did we?
We did apply, and we did, there's an application fee this year that we did have to submit with it.
Yeah, I don't recall offhand, I've gotten a couple responses back, but I don't.
But no responses yet.
Yeah, I haven't got anything back for the one, and then for the MUW one, we should find out on that pretty soon as well.
Is that annual or every
Yep, that's-
year's like?
Yep, that's an annual award, it's more specific to the electric
Okay.
part of the utility, so.
Thank you.
The respirator fit testing
Yep.
for the water department. Is there, back at the mill, you had facial hair restrictions, or have they overcome that with?
Depends on the length of facial hair. If you can actually get a seal, the biggest thing is the seal. So if you have something that's not as thick, you should be fine, but any member of ZZ Top would not be able to wear one. That would not, the tuck and curl method probably would not work out too
Okay.
well. But,
Okay.
so for the most part, our guys are pretty good.
Okay.
It's also a full face, so we're talking way back
Okay.
here,
Yeah.
which also helps quite a bit.
Thank you. 4.2, line superintendent's report. No squirrels in February?
Geez, knock on wood.
Yeah.
They're back.
Any questions on the superintendent's report? Okay. 4.3, water department. So on that contamination, Is there any EPA or any type of assistance with that, mitigation or anything?
No, so that site is actually closed now. It was closed in 2016. And so it was a former dry cleaners, I think, prior to 2000, when it was actually discovered about the leak. And so once the remediation is done, it gets closed at that point. But then the DNR will still consider their expected plume of the contaminants to be ongoing at all times. So then you're gonna require the protection on the water main and everything. There's no EPA funding to support communities to do protection for their water systems.
It's a DNR thing.
But this is a DNR.
Yep.
Might be a little overboard.
All the different precautions, yeah.
Yeah, so in the past, and why this year is a little different, in the past, if the water table is at the same level as your water main, then they require the protection.
Okay.
This is a little different scenario where the DNR has changed their stance on that, and that is if the water main falls within the area and the water table is still lower, they're still gonna require it because they view that the water table can change from year to year. So they're just looking out for the safety of the people drinking the water.
Did you show them your chart?
The
Well, they
plume and
changed their
everything-
mind a couple times on this project.
Yeah.
It's just the DNR people, is what it is.
Well, I mean, how stable the water table is, looking at your.
Yeah, so our water table in that area varies from 14 to 18 feet below ground. Our water main's at 7. So the city engineering actually contested this with the DNR, questioning it, and they came back and pretty much said, it doesn't matter, the water tables can vary from year to year.
What length of piping is needed to contain this?
So the whole project is approximately 2,500 feet of pipe, 1,800 feet of that needs protection.
And how do they, is it by parts per million or whatever that they're measuring, or how do they?
Yeah, so there's a certain level, parts per million, that the PCE and the TCE fall within, and if it's at a certain level, then it'll trigger the detection.
As far as you know, Adam, is this the first time we've had to do containment like this?
No, we did it on East Grand at the 4th Street intersection. We've done it on 2nd Street between
Okay.
East Grand and Berg. So we've done it before. It's a rare thing to see it for this long of a project.
Right.
Usually it goes maybe at a intersection at a time, right, to feed it.
Where was this property? I can't picture a dry cleaner.
It's R&R transmission right now.
And this is affecting the Lincoln Street project?
Yep. They have the contaminant plume going past Lincoln Street down the hill about another 50, 100 feet.
Well, you were talking about the budget, now this is DNR required, so you don't have much choice but to do the work. So how does this affect your whole yearly budget?
So we won't really know till the end of the year. We do know that is gonna be the material cost increase. But every project goes a little different throughout the year, and we don't really get our totals till January, February from the city. And so then we can determine, where we sit on the capital budget. Now, if you look at Oak Street, which was done last year, we were able to cut about 150,000 under budget on that one.
Okay,
So once the year is done, that's where we're gonna determine where we fall in the budget.
so at this point, you don't need commission approval to potentially go over budget?
But we reserve the right to come back.
Well, right, but right now you have no idea.
We have no idea at this
And
point.
you're waiting until the project's done, and then probably 3 to 4 months after the project is done before you see the numbers.
Correct.
And that puts us into 2025 already.
Most likely,
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming you'll be watching it and let us know if
Yeah,
anything
well,
changes.
and Jeff can attest to this, we don't really see the capital numbers from what the city bills us till the January, February of the following.
Yeah.
Probably won't know until, late January,
Yeah.
knowing what the number's gonna be.
So it doesn't help us now, other than make us aware that there's going to be additional work being done.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, 4.4, customer support supervisors report. And what, April something is when The moratorium's out?
April 15th.
April 15th?
Yes, we have the
Why does that
calendar
date
all-
ring a bell?
We're all ready to go. We have our calendar done.
Okay. Anything else on the report? Then we have the current and waves example there with testing for lead. And focus on energy tax. And the scholarship. When does the scholarships due, Sean?
April 1st.
First. No kidding?
Right around the corner.
Have we gotten any yet, or I don't know when they typically
usually
come in?
don't come in until right under the ground.
But hopefully, after yesterday, marketing that reality check.
Yeah.
Get 2 more.
4 or 5, Director of Finance report. That's really unusual to have a 3 payroll month in February, isn't it?
It is, it's pretty hard to do, so.
Anything more, any feedback on that simplified water case or anything since the report here?
Not really. We can talk about it more as we get closer in summer if that's, the direction we want to take as a utility. But essentially, we'd have the month of August to implement it if that's the direction we go, so we can talk about it June, July, or June to make that decision.
We'll have a better feel on the numbers for the year too. We have to meet a rate of return calc in order to get it, right?
Right, and.
The low? Yeah.
Lower.
Yeah, I was
We're
gonna say the
probably at
5% right now.
Well, it's 6.5 is what they're capping the
Okay.
rate of return after 2024. So if the numbers hold to where we have the numbers in the audit today, we would qualify mainly because that increase went from 8% last year to 4.1% is the authorized rate in 2024.
They definitely think inflation's coming down
Mhm.
at the state.
Well, we'll get to it, but it was encouraging to see about the transformers and stuff. Any questions on any of the financials? With a little bit, maybe, Todd, you can enlighten me, but on, I'm not sure what page this is, but it's on Jeff's charts, the electric utility sales and then the year-to-date electric operating expenses. So the residential sales are actually higher in '24, but our purchase power expense is lower. So is that rates coming down or what?
They are not. I mean, we've got here with a wholesale increase of about 7%, 8% this year, depending on where our demands end up for the year.
That's
But it's probably because of the milder weather. I mean, I just don't think we saw the probably kill
okay,
our
okay.
consumption that we would in a normal winter.
Okay. And on the water side, the source of supply expense and the administrative and general expense is significantly lower. Any rationale on that?
That was a Jeff question.
Okay, Jeff?
The administrative in general could be, a lot of those bills come from the city, that we might just not have everything,
Okay.
fuel or, things that they
When
want
they
for us in
send us
January.
bills from the prior year, at some point, we gotta cut our books and collect
Yeah.
it for the year we get it.
So then it's going to the
no
next
lag
year.
from the city, so it's.
Okay.
Yeah.
On the electric side, I don't have to worry about that stuff. We don't do many joint projects with the city. It's all on the water side.
Okay. Anything else on that, other than that 4.6 MAP information systems?
Time to work on the cables
Yeah.
and the connections? Okay.
They're a bit old. They've been in place since I've been here, so 20 years.
Okay.
It's just time to put some new ones in just before the ends start breaking or the cable frays.
Good. Now, as far as the fire alarm system, if the heads are being moved, I'm not familiar in the water plant, how much sprinkler there is being done.
Yeah, there's no sprinklers. These are just smoke and heat
Just-
detectors.
Okay. So if those get moved to a better environment, does that?
The detector itself is gonna stay in place. There's a module that connects on the top of it. And we can take that module and move it to a different place. We'll just
Oh,
run a
really?
wire.
Okay.
So it's just a controller module. And the problem we've been having is where the detector connects to the module, those have been corroding out and then we get a failure.
Sure.
So we're moving those into its
Okay,
own
good.
box in a different room.
I didn't know if it affected anything. Okay, good.
4.7, Sean. That looks cool. So you're saying that video or whatever is going to be within the next 6 months or something like that?
Actually, that was a typo, yeah, 6 weeks.
6 weeks?
Yeah.
6 weeks,
Yeah,
okay.
not 6 months. So
Okay.
we did shoot the video. And
I had a 6, you know.
Yeah, I noticed that after I reread it, but, yeah, and they did give us confirmation that we can link to it, put it on our website as well, so.
Anything else on Sean's report? 4.8, electrical engineers report. So, Tyler, when you said the transformer supply chain has seemingly caught up with demand. So have you seen like the timeline shrinking back to normal?
I wouldn't go that far.
No?
Well,
Better.
Better?
what I
How
meant
much
was,
better?
a lot of the transformers we ordered last year are coming in already in February, whereas we got a lot of ours towards the end of the year last year for our 2023 order. So seemingly it was about half the time of the year before to get our transformers. We only have 4 left from our order for this year.
No price relief, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know when that last transformer will be in that was on the 23 order?
It actually just came in
Oh.
right after I wrote this report.
Okay,
So-
good.
So just 4 left then?
Yep.
And those are more inventory, right? Those, the 4 that you're waiting for, are they project specific?
Spares.
Yeah.
Their inventory? Okay.
Director of Engineer report. Congratulations on the Platinum Award.
Yes, another one.
Oh, nice.
So.
Did you get that, Joe? Platinum. Anything else on Todd's report? Jim? What did you mean by congestion in the zone the wind farm resides?
There's so much wind in that area, because it's a big wind area, the western
Yeah.
part of Minnesota, that the transmission hasn't been beefed up or built out enough to handle the
Oh, okay.
congestion. So prices naturally rise when there's too much electricity in the line, so the price goes up, which, and we're, as you know, we're not taking this to our load, we're just dumping it in the MISO and taking the
Yeah,
renewable
yeah.
credits for it. So the prices have been higher the last year and a half in the MISO because, one, the MISO prices are higher, and two, that area is very congested oriented.
Hmm.
So for years, we've been losing money, and we're actually making money off of it.
Oh,
Why would the price go up if there's too much?
It's just electricity's different, there has to be enough waste, because you can't get enough power to other areas going through that same place, so they've got to charge more to relieve the congestion, so people back off, and then the price is moderated. But for a couple hours there, they've been getting 100 to 150 $1 a megawatt hour, that's a lot. Which is what we're selling it off for. And we're only paying 38, I think.
It's like
That's what our
traffic
con-
congestion pricing or something like that?
Yep, kinda.
Yeah. Pay more when it's busy?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And the busy signals are sent to reinforce the need to build
Right.
more.
Anything new from you?
Just that we had a call Monday and pretty much set up what they're going to do in their models, and they're gonna start running their models next week, so we probably won't have a call for a couple of weeks until they get the results back and formulated and ready to review. And they're gonna come to the, I think, the April board meeting and go over the results with us.
Okay, accounts payable. So Jeff, on that page 1, the transportation utility remittance, is that average what we're seeing on a monthly basis for the new transportation utility?
That's everything that we billed in January, and I think in January it went up about 5.6%. It's a city charge, and then we just send them everything that we
Yeah.
billed. That's pretty close to the monthly amount.
I thought it was gonna be more than that.
No, we had a target, and I think we're on target. We did raise it this year.
Yeah?
Yeah. So, yeah, I think we're right where we expect it to be or hope to be.
Like a $500,000 a year?
Someplace in there.
Okay, I thought they were gonna go from
Well, initially, but then at that point, it was more than just doing street upgrades and stuff. There were some buildings and equipment involved in that, and it didn't fly, so it's just going towards street resurfacing and some improvements like that. Well, and special assessments.
Yeah, okay.
And part of it, there's credits that are offset some of the costs too, so if their rates are targeting $500,000, they'll still give you credits to people that paid special assessments for a number of years, so.
Oh, okay.
That's offsetting that total amount that they're collecting.
I just put it in thinking about, 3 assessments or whatever a month. It didn't seem like much. I mean, I don't know what the average assessment was before. Wasn't it like 10 grand?
That I don't know.
Yeah.
It was a lot if you had to pay it.
Yeah.
And if you lived on the corner, it was twice as much.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, now we know some corner lots, we were waiting to see if they're gonna sell it. And on page 4, the fluoride testing, it just reminded me, how often do we get that, I forget what you call it, the water report?
The water quality?
Yes.
The CCR report?
Yeah.
That's once a year. So we typically post that in May, and then it goes to the library, our lobby, Chamber of Commerce, and then we put it on our website as well. And so that'll then give your yearly results of all your water quality levels.
Thank you. Any other questions? If not, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
We have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second, any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.